If you want to know how to raise successful kids, how to stop procrastinating, and how to choose between crypto and real estate when you're deciding what to invest in, today's video is going to be for you. We're going to be doing a Q&A with questions that I posted on my Instagram account about 3 to 4 days ago. And also, we have been compiling these questions with things that people have asked me on my Instagram account in the past month or two. We actually did one of this about 3 months ago, and it was really successful, and we got really good feedback, so I decided to do a new one. Go to my Instagram account, give me a follow, and drop the questions that you have in the IM, and you're either going to get it answered right away, or I'm going to answer them in a video like this. My name is Andrew Pizzi. I'm an investor and entrepreneur out of Las Vegas, and I want to welcome you to the AP Show, where I'll be focusing on how to build a great life around health, wealth, love, and happiness, which I believe are all needed in order for you to have a great life overall, and not just in one specific area. I always thought that one area such as money would give me happiness, but happiness is the compilation of a whole bunch of stuff that you do right. So I'm going to be creating videos, and I have been creating videos for you to be able to achieve happiness the way that I achieved happiness in my life. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below with any thoughts on today's topic or any future videos that you would like me to do. So like I was saying, I'm planning to do this every couple of months. So I would love to see your questions, and I want to give you my honest answer. Some of the topics, such as the one question that I'm gonna open this with, which is how to raise successful kids, is something that I haven't experienced myself. So it's a hard question for me to answer, but I'm going to give you the information based on what I've researched. It's one of my biggest fears is to not raise successful, or not even successful, but the right people for the world. Positive human beings that will be raised and put into the world is one of my biggest fears. So even though I don't have any kids and I'm not a parent, I've actually done a lot of research on this, so I'm excited to talk about it. So let's jump right into question number one, which is, again, what tip do you have for parents to raise successful kids? Let me open this whole conversation, or this answer to the question, in the following manner. It all depends on what success looks for you, but it all also depends on what success looks for your kid. You have to understand the following. I'm a driven ambition, all the stuff that you see online, all the businesses, all the money, all the stuff. I'm that way. But I'm never going to judge or, impose on my kids to be as successful as I am or as driven as I am, nor am I going to limit them to think the way that I think. So the first thing that I can tell you as a parent, if you're watching this, is you have to define success. And it doesn't mean what your definition is for success, but what your kid's definition is for success as well. Because you're going to have a kid that is frustrated because they think that your definition of success is what they should be defining success as. So I would tell you to be very careful. I'm going to give you a tip on how to raise successful kids, but make sure that your definition of success is lined up with what they think success looks like. Because again, you want happiness for their life. You want fulfillment. And if they want to be a doctor, an attorney, an architect, like whatever it is, and you want them to be an entrepreneur making 20 millions a year, and that is what you think success looks like, they're going to not be happy. They're going to live a life trying to impress you and trying to make you happy, not them. Let me give you a tip on how to raise successful kids by my definition of success, which is happiness. And happiness for me is growth. So I need to be growing in order for me to be happy. Therefore, my kids are only going to see me by leading by example. What I mean by that is this. My tip would be for you to lead by example on what you think, again, based on the both of you's definitions on what success looks like. Again, if you're a successful entrepreneur, and let's say your kid has the same dream of being successful, having a lot of money, having freedom and all that kind of stuff, the best tip that I can give you is to lead by example. You can tell them anything you want, and you can show them a completely different thing. And let me tell you something, they will go by whatever you show them. I was actually talking to my mom about this because she smokes and I don't, nor does my sister. So I was like, listen, you can tell us all you want that smoking is bad and all that kind of stuff, and we know it's bad. but we won't not just follow what you say, but we see you smoking. So all you have shown us is that smoking is either good or that it's okay to give up to certain things and just have an addiction. So if you want your kids to be successful, if you want your kids to, have great lives and freedom and all that kind of stuff, you need to make sure that you're leading by example. Show them a good example on what their lives should look like based on, again, the conversation that you had, but also make sure that the example that you're setting follows through what you told them. Second question for today's video is, what do you think the reason is for procrastination? And this is something that is very hard to determine for sure, but I can tell you something. Anytime I procrastinate is because the thing that I'm putting off is not as important as not doing it. What I mean by that is the following. If you see your life 40 years from now, 50 years, whatever, however old you are, and let's say that you're seeing your life at 60, 65, or 70, which is when people think that it's too late to start, or their entire life has gone by. If you see your life right now and you close your eyes and you imagine it with that goal that you have in mind, and it's better than when you imagine it without achieving that goal, let me promise you something. You will make sure that you don't procrastinate and that you do the steps that are needed in order for you to achieve that one thing. Because what happens is that if I want to be a multimillionaire, right? But there's nothing backing it up and I don't see my life not working out if I don't become a multimillionaire, then I won't do it because it's hard. And the reality is that most things that you set your mind to are going to require hard work. So if you don't think that they're vital, that they're super important, you're going to procrastinate and you're going to put it off until you just never do it. Let's jump into question number 3, which is, would you invest in crypto or real estate? And here's the thing. For me to answer that question, I would have to have a little bit more information on your current situation. But let me tell you something. What I always say is this. Real estate is what has made most of the millionaires that are in the United States today. So real estate for me would be always the option to go with, because crypto is something that I have no idea about. So I have $0 invested into cryptocurrency, and I have a lot of money invested into real estate. The reason why is because I've done my research on that and I know that space very well. So I'm always going to pick real estate. But let me tell you something. The early stage of your business, the early stage of your life is not when to start investing in real estate. You have to make sure that you have a high paying job, a high paying business, and you are making, meaning netting, a lot of money, meaning 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year before you even start thinking into investing into something else. Because until you get there, the best thing that you can do is to stay at your current job or business until it makes you enough money to where you need to put that extra income, that extra amount of money that you're netting into something else. Most people make the mistake of investing into other things way too early. Question number 4 actually goes together with question number 3, and it's, if your money has been made in insurance, why do you talk so much about real estate? And it comes down to, what do you want for your life? What I want for my life is a lot of money, freedom, and that comes with real estate though. Real estate has a lot of tax advantages, a lot of wealth creation vehicles that you need to get into if you want real wealth to be built over time. So I make my money in insurance, but I dumped it into real estate because I know that that vehicle will make me a lot of money. Also, when you make enough money on your primary vehicle, you have to look for other ways to dump and diversify your portfolio. So that's the reason why I do make my money in insurance, but I also make money on real estate because I know it and I know that's something that I need to get into. Question number 5 is, how do you determine when the right time is to go from a job to having a business? And for this, I need to answer this question in a very simple way. If you are a person that cannot handle stress, you should never make the switch from having a job to building a business. Building a business and having success and money and all that comes in with a ton of stress and problems and stuff like that. So I would tell people, and I always do tell people, if you are the type of person that cannot handle stress, that just prefers to be chilling and, relaxed, do not open a business. Do not think, like most people, that opening a business will just give you freedom, that opening a business will actually make you work less, because it doesn't work that way. I actually have a art on my wall that says an entrepreneur is a person who works 100 hours for themselves to avoid working 40 hours for somebody else. What that means though is that you will be working more to build something of your own. That's correct, to have freedom and all that, because that's what I'm pursuing. But do not go into it thinking that it's going to be easy or that it's going to be, a 30-hour-a-week job. Building a business is hard. So go from having a job to building a business when you're ready to handle stress. Question number 6 is, how do you handle adversity in your life? Meaning, how do you handle challenges? I actually read a quote on this a long time ago that says, learn how to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. And what it means, and this is exactly the way that I would answer this question, is you need to be a thermostat where you set the temperature and the thermostat makes sure that the AC unit brings the temperature down to what you want it to be. A thermometer, on the other side, is something that actually measures the temperature of whatever, food or whatever you're using it for. And it only gives you the temperature that the meat, for example, is. It doesn't bring it down to what you want it to be. So what it means for you and how to handle challenges is you want to make sure that you've built your character, your mental toughness, to make sure that you set your temperature and you keep it there. It's not fluctuating anytime that something happens. Because again, going back to the last question, you'll have a lot of stress and challenges, and what you don't want to experience is anytime something happens, you're freaking out. So you want to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. You want to make sure that you're staying calmed, that you're staying in peace, and that you're not going crazy anytime something goes wrong. Question number 7 is, what returns should I aim for when investing in real estate? And for this, I'm actually going to have to do a separate video talking about this because it has a lot of different components. But what I can tell you though, to start, is you need to compare what market you're going into, because there are markets that will give you cash flow, meaning a return every single month. And there are markets that you're investing more for appreciation of the asset. So for example, Vegas is something that I market right now that if you invest in Vegas right now, you won't get any cash flow. Meaning if you're only aiming for properties that will give you 12%, 15%, 20% in rent every single month, return on your money is what I'm talking about, you won't find them. Vegas is a market that has always been this way, but especially in the last 3 years is a appreciating market that you want to invest in real estate, but not for the rent of, like the extra $200 or $300 a month, but for the appreciation of the property. So there are markets like, the Midwest where you get 800, 900 a month return on your money, right? So your positive cash flow is 500 to 800 a month. It's not going to happen in Vegas. So what I would tell you is evaluate your market and make sure that you understand exactly why you're getting into real estate, because you're going to be disappointed. And some people think that they're losing money just because they bought a property in Vegas that is not cash flowing, but it's appreciating. So make sure you know the difference. The 8th question that I'm going to be answering today is actually the last one. And the reason why I left it for last is because I actually did a video on this. So the question goes, do you think a recession is likely in this 2024? So I did a video on this. I'm going to link to it down below in the description, and basically where I went in depth answering the question on whether I'm going to thinking that a recession is coming and what's going to be happening in 2024. So I talked about a reverse market crash. So give you a short answer without you going and watching the video. I don't think there's going to be a recession, and I don't think there's going to be a reverse market crash even. But go to that video, because in that video, I will also recommend you to watch other ones. It's really hard for me to give you an answer on why a market crash is not going to be happening in 2024 in, a minute that I'm taking to answer these questions. I'm going deeper into that video, and also I'm going to recommend you other videos within that video. So go watch that one and then watch the other ones that I'm going to recommend you. As always, take care everybody, and I hope that this brought value to you. If it did, please hit the like button. If it didn't, then comment below. I would love to know why. But I love doing these things because I feel like it's my way to pay back you following me, you watching my videos and all that. So as always, thank you for watching and take care.